Hi there, welcome to this month's market update. Big welcome to the spring market. In this video today, I'm going to give you a recap and an update on what's been going on over the last month or so across our region, across the property market as a whole, and also try and give you an idea of where we expect things to be over the coming months or so. Before I do that, please, as I always ask, hit that subscribe button to our channel, and at the very least, why don't you like this video? It really does help us out. So what's been happening? Well, we have seen a market which has been very busy at the start of 2024. Very pleased to say that that's the case. If I give you some headlines, just one of the numbers, a couple of the numbers that interest me, a 17% increase in the number of new buyers registering since the start of this year against the same time last year. That's a big increase. And more importantly, a 19% increase in the number of properties being placed under offer through the start of this year, through those first 3 months. And that's a really important number for us to consider because of course what that means is buyers have returned with force to the market. And what I think we're starting to see now is some increase in prices. We looked at the Rightmove Asking Price Index, very interesting index this month, said that prices had increased by 1.5% over the last month. And that's the single biggest increase for over 10 months that they've seen on their site. And I think that's a good indicator of exactly where the market is at. Now, one of the reasons why I think it could be that we're starting to see an increase in prices is what's happening on the other side with the number of properties that's available. I'm going to put a graph up on the screen here. And what that shows you is a track of the amount of properties that were for sale across the market over the last 3 or so years. So if you go all the way back to the start of 2021, what you saw was a very low level of available properties in the market at that time. Of course, it was a boom market. Prices were going up and up really quickly. We all remember reading about that. I've spoken in previous videos about what happened when Liz Truss and Kwasi Kwarteng did their magic back in late 2022. And you can see the impact that then that started having on the number of properties available for sale. So that started to climb, and we are now starting to see a plateau in that number. And that's really important because what that shows us is that although there is definitely more choice out there, the number of properties for sale has started to marry up with the number of buyers out there and might even be falling a little bit. And that is a good indication that supply and demand are kind of evening out, and that perhaps even demand will start to exceed supply once again. We'll have to wait and see on that point. But just as a little bit more anecdotal evidence on that, you know I like to talk about what the other indexes are saying. So the Land Registry, I'm just going to check my notes, make sure I get these right for you. The Land Registry, monthly change of 0.5%, an annual change of down 0.5%. The Nationwide, they said that prices went down last month by 0.2%, so not much change, but are now up annually by 1.6%. And the Halifax, 0.4% on the monthly change and 1.7% annually. So as always, the indexes, generally speaking, a little bit all over the place. But what we can see is a very clear indication that prices, according to any of these measures, are certainly not falling and may well now be growing again. When we look at our own average house price, and this is of course at the point where properties are selling, much smaller data set, we suspect now that prices are about 3% higher than they were at this time last year. And that of course was quite a difficult market. So, certainly an interesting time, but that's not to say it's all plain sailing. Another interesting piece of research done by Rightmove recently was on the amount of time that properties are staying for sale currently. So they've said that that's reached the highest level in 5 years at 71 days currently on market before achieving a sale. So it just shows you how important it is to get that choice of agent right when you are deciding who to put your property on the market with. Of course, I would say you must choose us, but then of course I would say that. Let's not get too much into that. Thinking ahead. So I don't see much change in the trajectory of the market over the coming months. I think mortgage lenders are willing to lend. We're expecting an interest rate cut coming in the next few months. And I think the circumstance and the environment now is such that we may well start to see that little bit more price growth through the course of 2024, which is good news for those who are looking to sell, perhaps not as good news for those looking to buy. We shall see. The only thing that's going to affect the market over the next 6 months or so is the election, which we know is going to happen at some point, more than likely in 2024. And depending on the result of that will depend on whether or not we have any issues with the property market moving forward. Of course, that's unpredictable. I'm not going to try and forecast what's happening there. We hope, as always, for a clean result when that moment comes. And if you want to stay up to date with what's happening across the property market, the best way of doing that, in my opinion, is through these videos. As always, appreciate you watching. Thanks for taking the time. If you're thinking about moving in 2024, you know where we are, 8 a.m. till 8 p.m, 7 days a week. We'd love to talk to you about how we can help you move. Thank you.